So I thought I'll follow up on my chain conversion videos earlier. Actually, it's been a while. Lots have happened. I made some aluminium rear sprockets to start with to find the correct gear ratio, because the plan was to make the bike do a wheelie. And with this, I found out it was about, I think it was 65 tooth in the back, and then with a DSR setup you could actually make it do a wheelie. Since then I found out that the chain provided with the kit from ZERO, it was just a 520 dirt bike chain, and it stretched so much that it ruined both the sprockets, both the front and the rear. And the chain was stretched so much that the clip holding the chain together was lost. So I think it lasted about 1,000 kilometers or something. So it was kind of bad. So, but to begin with, I thought it was the aluminium that was too soft, because it was the first sign of wear I saw. It was the chain, the teeth on the sprocket that were showing very clear signs of wear. So I decided to make the sprocket in steel instead, and then take a high strength chain with O-rings instead. And I don't know if you see New Zero Land, but it's kind of the same thing that Sam says, that the normal chain is just bad, and as soon as you switch to O-ring chain, it's much better. It's not the same ride as when you use the belt, because that's just smooth. The chain is a little bit noisy, but it's actually a nice setup. And now I think I'm being thrown away. Now I've made rear sprocket in steel instead. And using a much stronger DID O-ring chain. Our O-ring chain is basically because there's O-rings there. So it's a smoother ride compared to the other chain, and it's much more quiet. It's not silent like the belt, but it's actually really good to drive. I had a normal DS to compare it with for a while, and I must admit I kind of miss the belt. But going off-road with a belt on a DSR is not ideal, because you always worry about snapping the chain, especially if the bike gets a little bit air. And also this gear ratio is much better. It's not as fast, the top speed is lower, but the acceleration is much better, and it can actually do a wheelie now, which is impossible before. And also it's the motor, very seldom overheat. It's very hard to get it to run hot. It takes like, you really have to go to ride hard before it overheats. But that might also be because I've added the front fairing, the front windscreen. I really hate the look of it. I think it's ugly. I think it ruins the bike, but it's much more comfortable. It really works, and especially when you're driving fast, it's much better. So if you could build one that was invisible, I would prefer that, but it's very nice. And also I got the narrow handlebars, so those two factors might also influence on the overheating issue. And also I got the 17-inch front wheel right now, and it makes a very big difference on the bike. It's much more willing to steer and brakes much better. The braking might be a lot of different things, but it's compared to before, it's much more sporty to ride. So right now it's actually a pretty good bike, but I miss the dirt bike tires or the off-road tires, because I like riding places like this, and these wheels are not ideal for that, but for now it's nice to try.